Coming up next on Inside City, we get to know the makings of arguably the Premier League's greatest ever import, Sergio Aguero. With contributions from best friend Lionel Messi and former teammates and managers, we see how a boy growing up on the slums of Buenos Aires becomes a legend in the English game. Before 93-20, there was another great story. This is Made in Argentina, the Sergio Aguero story.
There are many photos, of course, but not as many as we would have liked. At that time, it wasn't easy to take lots of photos, but there is one, which is from his 4th birthday. It was the first of Sergio's birthdays that they could afford to celebrate. The cake was made for him by his first manager, who was a baker. They called him Jorge the Baker, and he made it for him especially. There are also some pictures from his time in infant school. Here he's at an Argentina-themed party, and he's dressed up as a patriot. This is one of many pictures of Sergio winning trophies as a kid. Adriana, his mother, said that Sergio was always bringing trophies home. And she was right. He won almost all of them. This one is iconic, because in almost every picture of him with the team, you'll see Leo, his father, at his side. Leo was always with Sergio.
At the weekends, they organised big tournaments. I used to play, and Sergio was always with me. We played in a lot of pitches over there, and he was always playing at the side of the pitch.
He was only small. He was 5 years old, and he loved playing with the football. But I worked a lot and never paid much attention to it. I left him to enjoy himself. It was just a game.
I saw that he played with bigger boys, and he was not afraid of anything. So this was the beginning for him.
During my childhood, I was only trying to have fun with the ball.
What perfectly sums up Sergio's childhood, playing football, is this picture, where we can see the door of his very basic house where he lived, with all his brothers and parents, and this mud football pitch. He used to sit at the corner where the door opened. He watched the others play first and then himself, where he developed his incredible magic.
He was a cheeky boy. He liked to run away. The neighbours used to help him jump the wall to play football. Sometimes when I got home, he wasn't there, and I needed to go out looking for him.
I was always out playing football all the time. I lived on the football pitch.
He wasn't really keen to study, but never got himself in trouble. He was never in any fights. He loved to get a hug and a kiss, and he liked me to caress his neck and hair. He still likes it now.
When he was 5 or 6 years old, he never stayed at home. He was always on the pitch.
Unfortunately, this culture of mud pitch football, the potrero, that we always talk about is disappearing. There are a few left today.
They're not official pitches, they're neighbourhood pitches. On these, you play with a lot of pressure. The pressure from your neighbours and people from other places watching you.
Here you play with older players. The oldest always shows you, teaches you.
When you play, you have to think fast, who to take on, who not to. You know who's going to play dirty and who isn't.
There's no forgiveness here. If they tackle you, they will go in hard. If they have to fight with each other, everybody's getting involved. It doesn't matter whether you're little or not.
You start to realise what you can do on the pitch and what you can't.
They're made of hard mud and even some thorns that can prick you when you fall over. Some have got rubble on them too.
When you're a kid, you don't think anything of it. You grow up playing that way, and it's an everyday thing. But when you start playing on a normal pitch, you have an advantage because of how hard it was playing there.
This is why we have such special players here in Argentina. All of this helped Kun become the player he is today.
Sergio Aguero, who they called Kun since he was a kid, started to play here at 5 years old.
Loma Alegre, en 1 de mayo, 20 de junio, Pellerano Rojo, Los Primos, Bristol. Ha jugado en muchísimos.
He played for a lot of teams on this kind of pitch, made of concrete and mud. Baby football, as they call it, or bigger pitches.
He used to play for the under-7s. He was younger than that, but he still played it. And after that, he played for the under-6 and under-5s, which was his age category. He usually played for more than one team every weekend, starting off for the under-7s and then the under-6s if we had time.
On
Sundays, he played in the early morning and in the afternoon at Los Primos. I stopped playing in tournaments where I used to play to take Sergio everywhere because he just wanted to play football.
I was a young kid and a happy one because I was playing for a neighbourhood team which had its own kit, which was new for me. Everything changed when I moved to Loma Alegre, which was my first club.
Everybody used to come watch Sergio play. The teams were staying after their games just to watch him. They were astounded by how he played. Everyone used to say, this kid will get to the first division and the national team. He liked to get the ball at the halfway line, and from there he could build up the play. At the same time, he wasn't a selfish player who liked doing everything by himself, but he used to make everybody else play too. He had an incredible sense of team unity.
He had a lot of strength. He had very strong legs. As he grew, you realized that this strength in his legs wasn't normal.
The standout attributes were his physical attributes, his good skills, and especially the intelligence he had to play.
I used to tell him, I hope the keeper forgives me, but point to his stomach. Tell him, this is going to hurt afterwards. He's going to be scared of you. And he started doing it.
He could shoot with both feet since he was a little kid. It was innate. He could head it too. When he received a bad tackle, he wouldn't react in a bad way like the others. There were other kids that might react badly, insulting the referee and get booked. It didn't happen with him. He was never sent off.
This one must be the first headline of Sergio in a newspaper, and they didn't know it was Kun. It was 1998. Sergio was 9 years old, playing in a tournament in Luján. The ball was a huge comparison with him.
We were lucky enough to participate in 3 regional tournaments, and in this tournament in Luján, we picked him to play, and we were champions.
There were a lot of teams, with some from other regions, and luckily we won it.
Everywhere we went, he would shine.
This is the day after, celebrating and doing a lap of honour with his teammates.
Every time he got the ball, he used to do wonderful things. That's why everyone wanted to watch him.
tuvo la suerte.
He was lucky because all of the coaches really liked him.
Esos maestros que están, digamos, que anónimos, ¿no?
These anonymous teachers, the unknown coaches, they are the ones who help these natural-born talents we have in Argentina. They take diamonds in a rough and they start to polish.
Diamantes en bruto y que los empiezan a pulir ellos.
Acá en entrenamiento me voy a matar, viejo. Me voy a matar por cada uno de ustedes, ¿sí? Porque hicimos un año increíble, ¿sí? Y creo que nos costó a todos nos costó, ¿sí? Porque yo dejé de laburar, porque él tuvo sus cosas, porque pasamos muchos momentos duros.
When I got in contact with his former coaches, everybody just had brilliant things to say about Kun. No one knew he was a promising footballer. He had a bright future in football ahead, and no one got him wrong.
Eduardo González.
I used to catch up with Eduardo González. He used to work in a project at Independiente. He used to give me tickets to watch the club play. It was nearby. I always said to him, "When are you going to take my son?" And he said, "Not yet, he is too young."
Before you choose to be involved in this career, you have to be sure about it. You have to approach football just as you would any other job. Every day you must come here, learn something new and work in order to progress. And the most important thing is, you must always think about the future.
Y siempre pensando en el futuro, que es lo primordial.
I think he was 8 or 9 years old when we got started there. They were doing trials at the club and we decided to participate. That's how he got going with Mencho Balbuena and Rambert.
In the neighbourhood, you just played, but now there are training sessions and other things apart from the games. There was more discipline, more respect.
There was a rumour that there was a kid playing very well, and I wanted to meet him.
When we joined the club, everybody already was saying good things about him.
In a friendly match, I got to know him and I said, "This guy plays really well."
Afterwards, I had him as a teammate, and he really was what people were saying. He was brilliant. He's been always the same. We all knew that he was different, he was the best of our category, but he always treated everybody the same.
Lo invité a jugar a la Play para entrar en confianza, ¿no? Y agarró y me empezó a ganar. Él me hizo un par de goles y me cargaba. Y yo, una bronca que me carga. Así que entramos enseguida ahí y nos hicimos amigos, pegamos una linda amistad enseguida.
We were a group of friends that would spend all our time together.
Cuando ya pudo tener edad para jugar con los torneos de AFA,
He reached the age where he could start playing AFA tournaments, about 11 or 12 years old, and at that point, he just played for Independiente. In fact, he won his first important tournament. It was the youngest category of Argentinian football, and he won it 2 years in a row.
con la novena.
It was a competitive tournament. We were equal on points alongside San Lorenzo, and it was the last match day.
We needed to win that game to become champions. Pepe was the other striker playing alongside me, and Campito was playing as an 8.
It was a rough match, that final. I got involved in a fight and the referee sent me off, but it was a beautiful game.
It was a move where I kicked the ball from the halfway line and scored. I'm joking, I was running near the corner. I saw Sergio and I just crossed the ball with pace and he flicked it in.
Pepe was the one who gave me the assist. All I had to do was stroke it in, and we won with that goal in the very last minute. They took the kick-off and the game ended. San Lorenzo lost or drew their game and we were the champions.
We celebrated a lot. I was hurt all over.
Ruggieri, who was the manager, saw that he was a kid with a bright future and didn't lose the opportunity to give him his debut.
I was asking if there was some player ready to break into the first division, and I heard there was a little gem, but nobody wanted to tell me anything.
I
really wanted to know how much of a gem we had, and it was true that he was different. He was the best in his division. He used to score all the goals.
He was ready for the first division. His quality, his technique and his short bursts made the difference.
I said, let's take him as a substitute and give him his debut.
One of his best friends, Pepe Sosa, who played with him that day, was one of the ball boys.
Ruggieri was always saying to me, go and bring that kid. And that day he said to me, go and bring Aguero, Aguero. I ran and I said, Aguero, Aguero. And he ran over to make his debut.
Maybe he's wearing a nappy. He's got a baby face, but the legs are like a baby. We are witnessing an historic event in Argentinian football, a boy who has just turned 15 making his debut in the first division.
Sergio was 15 years old then. Football was just a hobby for him.
It was unbelievable, but Adriana had never been in a football stadium before watching Sergio play. She was always taking care of her kids, and it was Leo who was escorting him. That day, the day of the debut, she said yes, and she was there to see her son making his debut in the first division for Independiente.
No sé cómo explicarlo, pero era algo que no lo podía creer.
I can't explain it. It was something I couldn't believe. I was looking at it and saying to myself, this is my son, but I couldn't accept what I was seeing.
De aceptar. Lo miro y...
When I look at him, he's my son. Then on the screen, he's just another footballer.
Más.
The day of my debut, I played against Pablo Zabaleta.
I can't remember the final score. I think we won 1-0. There's a picture around in which we are fighting for the ball.
I don't remember well, but there was some friction.
Just because he was 15 years old, it didn't mean we were going to make things easy for him.
Maybe he just couldn't get me.
For El Kun, I think it was a very special moment. And for me as well, because I can say that I was there when he made his debut.
We were all happy.
This is a very beautiful thing.
He broke the record for the youngest player making his debut in the Argentinian top flight. This was the first time I got in touch with him, when I greeted him and congratulated him.
The only thing I told him was, I only want you to come onto the pitch and have a good time. Enjoy it. I told him nothing about tactics. Just do what he was able to do. Basically, to enjoy it.
When he told me that, I thought he was right, that I should play like I had been doing against the teams of my age. Then I got onto the pitch and I did what I could.
Se viene Agüero, ¿qué va a hacer Agüero? Esto es Agüero por el Independiente. ¡Gol!
A los 15 años que le digan todo, que es el distinto.
At the age of 15, with everybody saying that you're a different class of player, a star, a gem, it's easy to not keep your feet on the ground, to start flying a little bit.
Y ya no tiene los pies sobre la tierra, empieza a volar un poquito.
But in his case, it was completely different. He showed humility, a desire to play and to learn.
Success is something difficult to handle, and he has done it in a very humble way.
Every time I see him on TV, he's the same person. When he talks about Messi, he's the same guy I knew.
Habla de Messi, es el mismo que yo conocí. Siempre que yo llego a un club,
When I arrive to a club, even if they all know who I am, I know all of them too. I introduce myself. I'm Cesar Luis Minotti. I shake hands with them. When it was Kuhn's turn, I said to him, I'm Cesar Minotti. Then, when we're about to shake hands, he hit my hand like this, doing this with his fist, and said, El Kun Aguero. I kept looking at him. I don't know how old he was at that point.
Being managed by Minotti at that time, it was like a dream, because he had a worldwide reputation, and even more so in Argentina. He was always saying to me, you have to be like Romario. Inside the box, you have to score. I don't care how, just put the ball in the net. Even if it's a toe poke, it doesn't matter. Just do it.
I was criticised a lot when he wasn't scoring goals, but in the end, he became Romario. He scored a lot of goals very similar to Romario's. He's at his peak when he's inside the box. He doesn't forgive you. He's a killer. I remember I told my assistant, we've got the best 9. He's not going to be off the pitch anymore. No discussion. He's the best.
Well, off the pitch he's a fantastic guy, very natural and humble. He's always in a good mood. To be honest, I've rarely seen him upset or angry about anything. He always tries to find solutions to problems, and he's always in a good mood.
They began together at a very young age. They've shared the national team dressing room, and when they meet, it's obvious that they've got a really nice relationship.
He was just 16 years old when he makes a fantastic campaign with Independiente, makes historic goals for them, and that in 2005 he became champion with Messi, and he was playing 3 years over his age group. He was 17 and Messi was 18 years old when they won the Under-20 World Cup in the Netherlands. Most of the guys were 20 years old, and amongst them, the captain, Pablo Zabaleta.
The talent he was showing at the time meant he had to go to the tournament in the Netherlands.
Both of them are icons of the World Cup against Nigeria. Sergio won the penalty and Messi scored it.
It was an outstanding month, even if you forget that we were lucky enough to win the tournament.
I remember the final. I won the penalty, and I always tell Leo that we won because of me.
That's true. It was a defending moment. The match was really even-sided. Then he gets the ball in the box, faces up to the defender, but at that moment the penalty and the goal were a huge relief because of how everything went after that. Before that it was a difficult game.
The celebrations were special because during the World Cup, one of his best friends, Emiliano Molina, a goalkeeper who had always been playing with the Independiente, was involved in an accident.
The first I heard about the accident was that he was at the hospital.
The night of Monday 13, at Dimitri Avenue over the Pueyrredon Bridge in Avellaneda, the car collided with a lorry. The goalkeeper was taken to the Fiorito Hospital in a critical condition.
We were keeping him updated about everything. We wanted someone there to tell him. We didn't want to tell him over the telephone.
It was Leo who told me about Emiliano's death when I was still in bed. Afterwards I checked on the internet, but that's all in the past now.
They were very close pals, always together in the national team, at school. When these things happen, you just have to learn from them.
Nowadays I'm still in touch with his sister and the rest of the family. These things happen. At that moment it was terrible news, but I had to keep myself focused because we had a job to do. I got back from the Under-20 World Cup and Falcioni had already been appointed as manager, and I didn't know what he was thinking. I wanted to know him, to get to know his movements on the pitch, and honestly, I was surprised. He's one of this kind of players that can change a game completely with his dribbling, stopping, quick bursts of speed. But he was very young. He needed to go step by step, knowing what life is about, not only as a professional footballer, but life for itself. I was asking him almost every day what he has been doing the day or night before, and sometimes, depending on the answer, I was making him run around the pitch. He got really annoyed.
Se enojaba mucho. Cuando llega Falcioni es cuando Sergio.
When Falcioni arrived, Sergio exploded as a footballer, and it was also where he caught the famous Boccini number 10 shirt. For us, as Independiente supporters, it was very meaningful because not everybody can wear it.
Then I said, all right, well, at least the number 10 always has to be on the pitch, right?
Tiene que jugar siempre, decía.
I didn't give him the number 10 to make people forget our idol, Boccini, but to try and give him responsibilities, and also to let him know that he has all of our support. There began another story when he was a regular on the team. I gave him the opportunity and he took it. All credit to him. He was a regular in the team during the whole year, and by the end of it, he was sold.
No digo que era figura, pero hacía buenos partidos y yo calculo que.
He was not a star at that point, but he was doing well. Villarreal were interested, Valencia as well, I think. He played against our biggest rival, Racing, and he scored and dedicated the celebration to Emiliano. He was his greatest friend.
Viste, festejarlo con el nombre de Emiliano era para él el amigo.
Jugar contra Racing, además de que era el clásico, para mí significaba mucho porque me acuerdo.
The game against Racing is a clásico in itself, but it was very meaningful to me because Emiliano and I always wanted to beat them. This day was my first clásico in the starting lineup and I was very focused.
Era ese día y bueno, estaba concentradísimo.
Coming up next on City TV. Stay tuned for the second part of Made in Argentina. We'll see the iconic goal that puts the eyes of the world on a boy who was born to score. Before destiny carries him away from Argentina, friends and family in search of greatness. After seeing the humble beginnings of the young Sergio Aguero, now we'll see the iconic goal that puts the eyes of the world on a boy who was born to score. Before destiny carries him away from Argentina, friends and family in search of greatness.
Kun recibe la pelota casi en nuestro campo.
He received the ball on the left side, in our half of the pitch, when the team was trying to build up quickly. Independiente won 4-0. Cruz was marking him at that point. He got the ball and then he turned around. He faced the central defender and he started to step back. Then Sergio feinted to go inside, feinted outside, feinted inside, feinted outside again.
He faced him here, then he stopped. He moved that way, and then back again, and then scored a goal in the Clásico.
He finished it with a shot across the goal.
Aguero no puede Él encara. Iba Agüero que quiere su gol. Agüero en el área. Es un golazo Agüero. ¡Gol!
No sé cómo fue y dije gol, mi marido había bajado.
I don't remember how it was. I shouted, "Goal!" My husband was downstairs on his own, and I was saying, "Goal!" just moving my hands because I couldn't bring myself to shout. I was really happy.
I wore a shirt dedicated to him, and afterwards his sister asked for it, so I gave it to her.
Afterwards, everybody was talking about Kun.
He's my hero for Independiente and I love him. Come back to El Rojo. He's El Rojo's #1.
I was at the corner of the old Doble Vizera stand and I remember watching it from that side. It was magnificent.
He made the defender dance and finished by slotting it into the corner. It was an outstanding goal.
It is something that nowadays you can watch on any social network, YouTube, Facebook. We've got it here. It was magnificent for how it was, because it made our Sunday, and we obviously were happy because we won against our fierce rivals.
All of us want him to play here with us. He's very important for us and he'd always be warmly welcomed here.
He was in a sensational moment, making the difference, winning the duels against the rivals, scoring goals.
He was technically very good, stopping, taking you on 20 times, scoring a lot of goals when he had the chance inside the box. You could see that he was very different.
Lots of people at that time were asking me how far they could go, but they were players whose possibilities were limitless. We can't even imagine how far they could go. Just by doing what they're doing, taking on the responsibilities that they take, with the weight of the shirts that they wear.
Asumiendo el peso de las camisetas que representan.
Come on, Sergio.
Come back, we love you.
Cuando podía haber seguido la progresión y quizás conformar un equipo más fuerte.
When they were creating a strong squad, Independiente got a good offer from abroad, from Atletico Madrid, and he went there.
Everything happened in just a couple of years. His debut, his progression in his career, getting a regular spot in the squad at 17 years old, the club's number 10, which is always very important. And then the next year, he is sold. Everything went so fast.
I was just a kid. I didn't want to go. I was taking my first steps in Argentina when the bid arrived, and the club told me that Atletico had made an important offer. I was young. I went to Atletico, but always with the doubt of what was going to happen.
Siempre con la duda de qué va a pasar, ¿no?
Para el Atlético de Madrid fue un fichaje muy importante porque en ese momento pagaron una cifra que para
The transfer to Atletico Madrid was so important because the club paid an amount that was impossible to ignore in Argentinian football and such a young player.
Grande para el fútbol argentino y para un jugador joven.
Le dije que no valía llorar, así que no lloré.
I told him that it wasn't time to cry, and I didn't cry when he left. I was true to my word. Everything changed after that, but he was on his way.
Nada es igual, pero él ya estaba encaminado.
Here the people are asking you who you play like. Maradona, Romario, Tevez.
I am myself. When I was in Argentina, I started to look at Atletico. It's a club that I liked. It's a big club, and I hope to give my best for it. The first year was difficult. I had to adapt, and European football is different from what they play in Argentina.
Todos sufrimos un periodo de adaptación donde llegas a un país nuevo, una liga diferente.
All of us need time to adapt when you arrive in a new country, a new league. He was young. Atletico Madrid at that point had important players, but afterwards he won his place in the first team and in the heart of the fans too.
Se ganó su lugar en el equipo, en el corazón de los hinchas.
Lo primero sí asusta un poco, pero es normal y bueno.
First impressions are scary, but it's normal. I'll try to take things easy, but I know I have a hunger to win and I'll do everything I can to be successful.
Para conseguir eso.
Ha ganado Copa de la UEFA, o sea, fue...
He won the UEFA Cup. He's a player that gave a lot to Atletico Madrid.
I was playing some games, others I didn't. During the second season, Aguirre started to make me play more often.
Más tiempo.
Siempre es lindo poder reencontrarnos, vernos.
It was always nice to be able to see each other and spend a few minutes together, because we had always kept in touch despite the long distance. But when the game started, we'd forget about our friendship and just try to do our best. Sometimes they won, sometimes we did.
Bueno, a veces ganamos nosotros y algunas ellos también.
Y de hecho,
he scored 101 goals for Atletico Madrid in 5 seasons.
Kun must have been one of a few players that had the chance of playing 2 under-20s World Cups and won both. Not everybody can say that.
He was 20 years old, which was the age limit for the competition, but he wanted to play it. He won the Golden Boot. He set the benchmark for the national team, the top goal scorer.
Bueno, ese lo disfruté mucho más porque
I enjoyed this one more. I was in the starting lineup and had the chance to win, becoming the top goal scorer and the best player of the Under-20 World Cup. Luckily, everything went well. Welcome to the Beijing Olympic Games. It's the semi-finals where we're bringing you Brazil against Argentina.
The Olympics gave you the chance to live it, to be in a village with other sportsmen.
There was Zabaleta, El Pocho, Di Maria, Leo, Mascherano, Riquelme. I scored a brace against Brazil in the semi-final. It was a beautiful moment.
Fue un momento lindo.
It was extraordinary, scoring a brace against Brazil in the semi-final and taking us one step closer to the gold medal. It was a perfect day for him and for the rest of us.
It was truly an incredible experience. Against Brazil, Sergio was deadly, scoring twice and handing us the chance to play in the final.
Como la final contra Nigeria.
The final was against Nigeria, the same opponent as in the Under-20 World Cup in Holland, and some of the same players were there too.
It was an amazing stadium. 80 or 90,000 people were there.
We won with a goal by El Fideo, Di Maria.
It gave us a chance to establish ourselves on the world stage, to be champions.
Cuando le hago a Brasil, obviamente se lo dediqué a Benja.
I dedicated the goals against Brazil to my son, Benjamin. He was still in his mum's belly. From there, beautiful things started to happen.
Bueno, a venir cosas lindas.
He was so happy, dressed in all green. He wanted to take a picture. He was very nervous before the birth of his child.
People say that when you are young, you are not ready to have a child. But I always say that no one is ready. When you have your first child is when you begin to learn how to be a father.
The birth of his child helped to keep his feet on the ground and be more confident in other aspects.
When you become a father, your responsibilities increase, and he really enjoyed it.
Él mismo disfrutó muchísimo.
Ellos tienen una muy linda relación.
They have a beautiful relationship. They are two kids when both of them are together. The father is not there, just the two kids. They fight, play, have fun, enjoy their time together.
Se divierte, la pasan bien.
I really enjoy it. He's 9 years old now. He grew up. He watches the games. He thinks by himself. He makes comments. He likes other players. He asks for shirts and boots. He's already got a pair of Gabriel Jesus' boots.
When I arrived at Atletico, he was already a father and had been there for a couple of years. All these things help a player mature. My first impressions were that he was a quiet guy, introverted, who trained well and was very skillful, but was still to make his breakthrough. He was fast. He was powerful running into spaces. When facing the keeper, he always took the right decision, rarely missing his chances. Diego, playing behind, was giving us quality, intelligence. For a few years, they were one of the best attacks in Europe. It was very special. A lot of people were waiting for that final for a lot of years. On our way there, we beat Galatasaray, Sporting Lisbon, Valencia and Liverpool, all of them big teams. Fulham were not a big name in the final. We got there knowing we were favourites, but being humble at the same time, and that helped us to win it.
It was a difficult game. We played extra time. We were exhausted. I gave the ball to Forlan and he scored. We won, but it was a very tough game.
This was the turning point for two players, Kuhn and Diego Forlan, who were on a higher level than the rest. They were the ones who opened the door to other great players such as Diego Costa, Falcao, the return of Fernando Torres. They set the standards that Atletico Madrid now require.
This was my first title with Atletico, and Benjamin was also there. It was a very beautiful moment.
Benjamin también estaba ahí. On behalf of everybody, including the players, thank you for making us feel so strong. Thanks.
We played the Super Cup against Inter Milan.
Inter Milan had won absolutely everything with Mourinho, and here was Benitez, which meant that things should have kept going in the same way, with Inter winning every competition they were involved in. But we got there with a very clear idea about the game. Again, with Forlan and Cunha strikers, and Simao, Reyes and Raul Garcia, Asensao playing behind. That was a complete team.
We won 2-0.
We didn't control the ball. We didn't dominate the game at all, but the game was ours. Every moment was how we'd planned it, and then him and Reyes decided the game.
Reyes scored the first and I scored the second after a Simao pass.
It's all over! 2-0 Atletico Madrid. Aguero with the second goal.
There's only one Aguero, there's only one Aguero, la 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 la, la 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 la, there's only one
I remember going to watch Valencia playing against Atletico Madrid. I think Atletico at the time had Forlan and Sergio Aguero as the two strikers. He'd done some, pretty amazing stuff already at such a young age. I mean, it seemed as if he'd been around a long time, but he was only 23, played a lot of games. We knew that at that time Real Madrid were interested and Juventus. Those two were pushing quite hard, so it was important to try and close the deal quickly.
The agreement was reached and I was very pleased to move and play in the Premier League. Spanish and English football are pretty different. Everything was quite new, but I liked it.
He was surprised when he arrived at the club, how people welcomed him. Since the beginning, there was good chemistry between Sergio and his teammates, and with the fans too.
He got a house 5 minutes from mine, so he was always glued to me.
His goal scoring's not a question. He's going to be guaranteed goals.
Aguero, he'll be a fan favourite in weeks. Absolutely over the moon, over the blue moon. This kid up there is a diamond.
It's heaven.
We're sending a big message to the rest of the world to watch out for us.
Welcome to a brand new season, a season during which Manchester City will be hoping to mount a serious challenge for the Premier League title. There he is, Aguero. Argentine striker who come from Atletico Madrid. It's welcome to the Argentine superstar. Aguero joining Independiente at 9 years of age. Had a journey through South American football before going to Spain. Here he is on his English Premier League debut.
His first season, he knew he would go game by game, step by step, until he got a spot in the starting 11. He knew it was not going to be easy, getting used to English football, which is very fast, strong, with a lot of contact. In my opinion, it's the most beautiful league.
Del fútbol inglés, que es muy rápido, mucha fuerza, tiene muchos roces, y para mí es el más lindo.
Tapped into the back post, and it is a debut goal for the man they call Kun.
I started with 2 goals in my first game. My confidence increased and people were treating me very well.
La gente me empezó a tratar muy bien. Go for it, and will plant an absolute cracker into the corner. He's only been on the pitch for a matter of 20 minutes or so, but Sergio Aguero
That's 2 goals on one of the shortest Premier League debuts.
I couldn't ask for more, just to play.
Siempre decía, "Ma, ¿vos cómo lo ves?" Y sí, si vas a ganar.
He was always saying, "Ma, how do you see it?" And I reply, "It's going to be good for you and you will enjoy it."
Gratificar. Y salió.
It has gone well. It was his year and it was something beautiful.
At that moment, in terms of quality, we needed a player who could keep a cool head and be extremely decisive. This player had to be Sergio. The famous Aguero in the 93rd minute will always stay in the memory of every City fan.
Esa famosa frase de Agüero en el minuto 93 y pico creo que va a quedar en la memoria siempre para cualquier hincha del Manchester City.
Mucha alegría, mucha felicidad por...
We were all so happy for him because he deserved to become a champion with City, and in the way he did it. It was an incredible joy for all of us, for him, for me, and everyone who loves him.
Lo que lo queremos al club.
Trato de
I just try to do things well and help the team.
obviamente siempre digo que ojalá que los goles
Obviously, I want my goals to help the team to win games and trophies.
para ganar y obviamente ganar título, ¿no?
Back to Aguero, and still.
Wherever he has been, he has always shined. He always has been the key player.
He has an energy, that spark that makes people stand up and cheer. And for a manager, it is a pleasure to watch him play.
He's making history year by year. He's one of a kind.
Is this goal number 178?
He has an incomparable capacity to define games. He has scored goals with barely an angle to score from spots where it's almost impossible to score.
He is something special that you just can't buy anywhere. He has goals inside him. To score a goal is the only thing on his mind for 90 minutes.
He wants the goal! From a near impossible angle by Aguero.
I like it when he scores, because I always tell him that he is going to score, and he replies, yes.
He can score headers, anticipating, moving ahead of the defenders, after taking on 2 or 3 players. He has everything to score.
To see a friend playing at this level, playing in the national team, it is something unbelievable.
At City, he's going to score 100 goals more. We hope he wins the Champions League, the only trophy he's missing.
He can do everything. He can decide the game by himself. He can get any opponents off his back.
Absolutely brilliant!
And inside the box, he's one of a kind.
He can dance a cumbia, make a joke, but when he is inside the pitch, he's the kind of player that is only there to win.
I don't obsess myself over scoring, because the goals will always come.